This is where we left off the project from lesson 1 of the series. In case you have not watched the lesson 1, I would encourage you to watch it first and try to take your time to understand the basic things that are with it there. Okay, so this is, we have our side bar menus as it is currently. And in this lesson, we are interested in making our navigation bar. What we have here is what we now intend to do. So, let's get started. Okay, here is our structure. From our page, we have our page.jsx in our home route, okay? And where we are already importing our sidebar and navbar, but we are interested in working on the navbar as of now. Okay, so I'm going to open this navigation bar. So again, inside of this navigation bar, I am importing another component which we created in the first lesson, which is search input. Okay, and that search input is here. What we have basic now is very basic, just search input. Okay, so let me go back to navbar. So this is what our navbar looks like. So let's try to begin to code it out. And I want to say from this point that I would not like to type and talk. Okay, what I would do is I will pause the video, I will type all the code, and I will come step by step to explain what the codes are for. Okay, this is so that we can keep the time minimum, so and everybody can flow together. All right. So I would like to quickly import the icons that are needed. Okay, so I have decided to use these icons as imported from Lucid React and React Icons Pi, Go, Phi, and TB. Okay, and again, I want to create another component, which is called avatar. And so this avatar, I need to create it. I need to come here and create that's another component called avatar. The intention is to create a file and not avatar.js. In the avatar, so I created a simple React component named avatar. Okay, I need an image that we are going to use in our avatar. So I created this constant function. Okay, and I am passing into it a number of arguments, which we are going to have the source where the image is coming from. Okay, the alternative text that is usually associated with images, the name of the images, the size, and the shape, which is rounded full. And this is being taken from Tailwind CSS class, okay, to shape our image. And so this is the avatar. This is where we intend to use our avatar, okay? That initial letter to uppercase. This is a JavaScript function again. We then join it if the name is actually more than one name, okay? And we join it together and we take the first letter, and we choose one of the letter. So actually, in this get initials function, my thought was to append maybe two names, but I actually later changed to using just one. So that's why I changed this part of it into to one instead of two. So basically, that is what our get initials does. Again, I created another constant variable and of a type of boolean, and I'm passing in the source. That is the source of where the image is actually coming from the avatar. Okay, so immediately after that, I then return the avatar itself, and I wrap it in these CSS classes that is going to be used to display the avatar. Okay, so that is so basically this is going to give us a round shape. A round shape will be coming because we have a width of 8 and a height of 8, and remember we are using rounded. Okay, this rounded is actually coming from our declaration above here. Okay, and the size properties is equally passed into it. So these are just basic JavaScript functions put together to create our avatar. So this is what our avatar looks like. We are going to use it in our menu later. Okay, so let's continue with the rest of the navigation bar. Okay, all of these icons that I have already imported are needed so that we can able to use them here. Okay, and we can see when you over these icons, we see a tooltip, okay, giving us what that particular toolbar, I mean icon, represents. Okay, so the first part of this tutorial, I'm going to build this in its basic form. Then the later part of it, I'm going to add these tooltip into it by creating a reusable React functional component to do that. Okay, let's see where we go next. So I have typed in the code required to display our navigation menu. So the parent div, which is the first one here, we is taking a full length or full width rather, and we are justifying this in between. We are flexing it out, and we are applying a padding of padding into y-axis of 2 and to x-axis of 3, and the background is set to 50. That's going to be a very light gray. Okay, and we are setting a border bottom of a gray of 100, which is going to be lightly darker than this of 50. Okay, and we are then utilizing one of the icons that we imported, and we give it giving it a size of 20. A size of 20 seems to be working close to the icons that we are the navigation that we are simulating on inventory system. Here I'm now importing the search inputs that we imported here, that was created here. It is still in bare form. Okay, and this is again closed. I am enclosing it in this div so that I can dictate how I align it, because it's going to be aligned to the left. Okay, in fact, that is why we are justifying this parent div into in between. So every standalone component or element, okay, will be laid out with the same, like they are going to have the same gap in between each other. So if we have 10, they are going to lay out in 10 and have whatever space that is left for them to space out from. Okay, in this particular case, we are just wrapping 2. You can see this is a single div where I then again have 2 different elements here there. And the second div is this. Okay, this flexing it out here simply would just make our elements to lay out one to the right, one to the left on the interface. So if I refresh, so currently we have our navigation bar aligning horizontally and vertically at the center. This div container. So I need to separate the navigation bar into its own different container. So we can fix that by applying a full width, okay, to this div element. And that should, okay, so that should give us the menu, okay, center to the top, like as we have them here. Okay, the tooltip will be applied later, like I said earlier. Okay, so these are just basic mere setting in these icons on the interface, on the menu. So, and this search input is just a placeholder now. So the next thing for me is to go into styling of this search input. And this search input is going to be a component on its own. So again, our search input is going to be styled, and I will explain the code. Okay. Okay, so these are the icons that we would need in our search input. And just like before, all what is happening here is to style. Remember that the tutorial is less of teaching you Tailwind CSS actually, or any cascading style sheet. The idea is to build the inventory system. So now this is what our search input looks like. What we are having here is to throw in this search CI search icon, and we have our FA chevron down, which we are importing. So by now you know how to utilize a component. So this component is imported from our React icons CI, and they are being thrown here. So in the large or the parent div, okay, we are assigning a relative CSS style and we group it. Okay, this is so that we are able to style the background. And let's see what we have currently. Okay, now this is what we have after importing the newly styled search input component. So we have this, and when you over it, we simply see this. Okay, the grouping that I was talking about earlier was there so that we are able to correctly put this icon, the search icon, and this icon besides one another, each other rather. And this is our search input. We can actually type something here, it gets typed. Okay, and this is kind of, it's very close to what we have on Zoho. Okay, and this is what we are equally having. Okay, let me go back to the code and explain further. So in our icon group, we have this div. Okay, this div, this is where we have the div, and we are wrapping inside of this div that CI icon and the chevron down, and we put a divider. This is the divider that is here. This one that separates this group from this search input. So again, we go to the input itself, and this is the input, and this is the placeholder, like we see there. And the input is a type of text, and this is all about the styling. It's all about the styling. This is the group over is what is giving us the over effect when we put our cursor on top of it. And so this is what our search input component looks like. So it is then imported into, it is being imported into our navigation bar inside of this div compartment, so that we are able to style it to the left. So basically that is what we have. And our avatar is now being used, okay, by importing it here, and we are putting these values into it. I intentionally commented this source because I don't have this is not a real website where we have avatar. Okay, but it is there because it means you can import or you can connect any image that is being hosted on any website that allows that to be actually used here. And I'm putting the name, the size, and the rendered I'm supplying the values for these params, okay, as was declared and made possible from our avatar. Okay. So this is what we have. This is what we have. And you can see that all of these are not working now. They are not linking to anywhere. And we are going to implement the tooltip shortly. So for the tooltip, I'm going to create a reusable component for it, JSX, because we will be needing it in a number of icons on the website. Okay, so this is a reusable React component that I called it tooltip, and it's going to take two arguments, the content and the children. Okay, so I am returning the children here. So whatever value that is passed into the children is what we are going to see here, is what displayed here. And on the children, on the content part is what the content is going to be displayed search. And all of these are Tailwind classes that are needed, okay, for our tooltip to be properly positioned. And we are using a black color and all of that. Like I said, this is not a Tailwind CSS tutorial series or lectures or any cascading style sheet for that matter. So our tooltip is going to be, it is here. So how do we utilize our tooltip? So we can go to our navigation bar. Isn't that in our tutorial, we want to use our tooltip here. We are using it on on 4 of these icons, from settings to notifications to refer and end, and to quick create. Okay, so these are the values that we are going to pass into each of these. Okay, let me try to memorize that. Okay, quick create, refer. Okay, let me just put quick create in all of them, then I will come back and put appropriate value. So how do we utilize our tooltip? Any component that you need to use must be imported, and we are going to import it as a constant component. Okay, so I've imported that. Okay, so in each of where we need it, these are our icons that where we need them, right? Let me quickly confirm. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So okay, we are not going to put it on the user, and we are not going to put it on the avatar. So the next. Okay. So which means we need it in the, not in the avatar. We need it in this Go Plus and other. Okay, let's first use it here. Tool. So it's going to be utilized as not as a self-closing component this time around. So now we have our tooltip here, but right now it's not going to do anything. Why? Because we have not put any values into it. So let me go back to our tooltip. Remember, we have a content that can be passed in, and we have children that can be passed in. Okay, so we can go back to where it is imported here, where we can utilize it. So on the tooltip, we need to pass in this content, and we on users. This is user. Okay, let's try and see. Okay, so it's working well on the user. Okay, so we can repeat the same thing for all of them, and then put in the correct values into them. Okay, this is actually hen. Okay, refer and end, quick create. Okay, refer and end. I'm closing the tooltip here, and I can simply quickly just copy this and paste it, and I'm moving these settings. I will remove the bell. Okay, settings is simply settings, and refer and end is the user here, and the bell it seems to be called notifications. Notification. This is notifications. So let me see. Notifications, that's correct. And this is quick create. So on our quick create, we can simply do the same thing. We throw in this Go Plus, and we remove this. Okay, so how it is called quick create. It is okay. So how our tooltip is working is, because we already have a reusable component for it. Anything that is passed in here, okay, our icons are being utilized here, while the children is used here. So, and this is giving us the content. The content is passed in here as content. So whatever that is in between the opening and the closing tag of the tooltip will be assumed to be the children props. That's why we are able to just put in our pass in our icons. Whatever that is passed here is going to just work. Okay. So let's compare quick create, refer and end, notifications, settings. Quick create, refer and end, notifications, settings. Okay. So this completes our navigation here. But remember, these are not useful for now. They are not doing anything. They are just seated here. But at least we have laid out our structure well and fine in this second lesson of the tutorial. Stay tuned for the next part, where we are going to be creating this content, okay, for the landing page. Okay, we are going to create these tabs. Okay. So from there, we know we will see what area of the tutorial that we need to go next. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.